Reflection on the Constitution and laws. The Constitution is the main law of the state, a special normative legal act, having supreme legal force. The Constitution defines the foundations of the political, legal and economic systems of the state. The Constitution is the constituent document of the state which sets out the main goals of the creation of the state. In the overwhelming majority of countries, the Constitution is adopted by the Constituent Assembly or by referendum. The Constitution is given the following legal designation: a normative legal act of the highest legal force of the state which consolidates the foundations of political, economic and legal systems of a given state or community, the basis of the legal status of the state and the individual, their rights and obligations. Social contract theory defines the Constitution as a contract between the population and the state where the procedure for the formation of the state and the relationship of the parties are determined. Despite the fact that in the last half of the 20th century there has been a qualitative leap in acceptance by states around the world national constitutions, there is a problem of losing the significance of the text of the Constitution itself. For example, surveys of the population of the United States revealed that the bulk of Americans recognize the importance of the U.S. Constitution, but at the same time, few could say what is the content of the text of the Constitution, what it is talking about. The known weakness of constitutions, when the principles laid down in them can be trampled upon by the authorities with sufficient ease, also does not contribute to the assertion of their importance. This problem arose as a result of the excessive overload of the constitutional text. Many articles, many insignificant rights, blurry interpretation of the text. The text of the Constitution should be simple, concise for easy memorization and clear understanding by any person. The Constitution defines the principle of community life, how every person in the country should behave. When reading the Constitution, it should be understandable to any illiterate person. Here is the text of the Constitution that I have invented. Libertarian Constitution. 1. Freedom of speech and belief are inviolable and unlimited. 2. The human right to dispose of property, health, interaction, time only with your consent was given to you from birth. Property can only be private or private, but shared. A compulsory transaction with private property can be made only by jury decision. 3. Every capable person has the right to own a weapon. The use of violence against those who violate the first and second articles of the Constitution is justified, but it should be commensurate. Violence is a punishment for my freedoms and actions with my rights without my consent. Violence against rights and freedoms is a crime. Righteous violence against the offender is required. 4. Voting rights appear only after paying a certain amount of taxes. Election votes are proportional to the amount of all taxes paid. 5. Taxes and miscellaneous charges are only voluntary. 6. Any person on earth can apply for any position, job, training. No permissions or restrictions. These points are quite enough to define the moral rules of society in the Constitution and make the country moral. Let me remind you of moral and ethical principles. Deal with others as you want to be treated with you. The golden rule of morality. This rule is rigidly connected with the rights and freedoms given to us from birth. The right to interact, association, cooperation. The right to dispose of property, health, time. Freedom of speech and belief are inviolable. Violence is a punishment for my freedoms and actions with my rights without my consent. Violence against rights and freedoms is a crime. Righteous violence against the offender is required. Right means to dispose and use. Freedom is without restrictions and without punishment. Any limitation of freedom is a framework of what is permissible. The sense of freedom in this case disappears completely. All laws should be adopted only in accordance with the principles of the Constitution. Courts, legislators, must unconditionally comply with the requirements of the Constitution. Such a law makes moral norms and moral behavior the main thing for the country, and therefore for any person. Join a group of noble, moral people. Links in the description. Introduce your friends with this information. See you next time.